Before we get into today's video, I'm pleased to announce the first giveaway contest here on the Star Wars Wavelength channel for a free copy of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. All you need to do to enter is subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and leave a comment below with your preferred platform, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or Microsoft Windows. One winner will be selected and announced on December 1st, 2019, so check back because it could be you. Official contest rules are in the video description below, and now, on to the video. When the Star Wars sequel trilogy was announced by Disney after they purchased the Star Wars franchise from George Lucas, a lot of people were interested to see what the stories in these new movies might entail. After all, everything had seemed to be tied up pretty tight at the end of Return of the Jedi. The Emperor was killed, Darth Vader had redeemed himself, the Death Star had been destroyed, and the Empire defeated. What was left to serve as the basis for a new trilogy? Well, by the time Episode 7 began, we definitely saw that everything had indeed become unraveled again, but we also didn't really get much of an idea of how that had happened. How could everything have gone so badly after everything Luke Skywalker and the rest of the rebels had accomplished in defeating the Empire? And what was really at the core of this new conflict? 30 years is a long time, and while a lot had obviously happened since the Battle of Endor, details have been scarce on most of the key events that led to the state the galaxy was in at the beginning of The Force Awakens. Still, enough details have emerged through the movies, books, TV, and other sources that we can at least start to reconstruct some of that timeline. So over the course of this video series, we'll cover everything we currently know and talk about how it set the stage for the events of the sequel trilogy and possibly beyond. So let's begin where the original trilogy ended, with the final days of the Galactic Empire. What a lot of fans might not realize is that the Empire wasn't completely defeated after the Battle of Endor, because even though the Emperor and Darth Vader were both dead, and the second Death Star had been destroyed, the Empire itself still survived and was still determined to continue fighting. The surviving Imperial leaders, under the direction of Grand Admiral Ray Sloane, regrouped in secret and began planning to strike back against the rebellion, which had taken Coruscant and was preparing to replace the Empire with a new republic. Unfortunately for Sloane, control of the Empire was soon wrestled from her hands by the mysterious Fleet Admiral Gallius Rax, whose plans for the Empire were unclear to anyone but himself. Gallius Rax, as we later found out, had been a personal protege of the Emperor from the time he was a child. Once an orphan on Jakku, the Emperor charged him with defending a secret construction project below the Jakku desert, and once that project was completed, he was promoted to a secret commission within the Imperial military that had him reporting directly to the Emperor himself. Prior to the Battle of Endor, the Emperor summoned Gallius Rax and sent him to hide in a remote system with a secret fleet of ships. The Emperor gave Rax instructions to carry out in the event of his death at Endor, and once that transpired, Rax finally emerged, took control of the Empire, and gave himself the title Counselor to the Empire. The Empire and the New Republic forces continued to have skirmishes for the next year, before Rax's plan finally came to a head at the Battle of Jakku. As the two sides battled on the planet and in the skies above, we finally discovered the Emperor's horrifying final instructions to Gallius Rax. It turns out that the construction project Gallius Rax had been guarding all those years ago was an underground observatory that would be used to chart a path into the unknown regions. The Emperor's primary purpose in doing so was to discover the source of a great power in the dark side that he had sensed and wanted control of. His secondary purpose, however, was even more staggering. If the Emperor were to be killed, he wanted Rax to take a small group of Imperial survivors, escape with them into the unknown regions, where he had secretly been building Imperial facilities for years, detonate the planet of Jakku itself, wiping out both the New Republic and Empire in the process, and rebuild the Empire in the unknown regions with the survivors. Unfortunately for Gallius Rax, his plan was stopped by Ray Sloane, who had been betrayed by Rax and tracked him down to the observatory the Emperor had built under the Jakku desert. She prevented the detonation of the planet, killed Gallius Rax, and took his place leading the Imperial remnant, including a young General Hux, into the unknown regions. With their entire leadership either dead or in hiding, the last of the Imperial forces didn't have a prayer. The New Republic won the Battle of Jakku, finally ending the war, and leaving the planet littered with destroyed Imperial military equipment that is still there to this day. The Empire was forced to sign a series of extremely limiting demilitarization treaties that prevented them from ever becoming a threat again, or at least that was the intention. As we know, the Empire was reborn as the First Order, and returned many years later to once again wreak havoc on the galaxy, and we'll pick back up there in the next video. For now though, thanks for watching this video, and as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave them in the comments section below, as well as your thoughts on the Empire's final days under the control of Gallius Rax. If you'd like to support the Star Wars Wavelength channel, please click subscribe so you can check back in whenever new videos are posted. Thanks again for watching, and may the Force be with you, always.